we have our class here, and we have the Sunday session. I want to just do a quick reminder for Coldest Night of the Year. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So that's happening on February 25th. It's a Saturday. And if anyone needs any information about it, we do have some pamphlets up here, or feel free to ask me questions afterwards. The class is operating on a sliding scale, so it's between $5 and $15. We do have our cash box up here, so you can just put your class fee in there and feel free to make your own change. And I think that that's all the notes I have to say. So without further ado, we have Juanita here, and her class is Eat Your Greens and Supercharge Your Health, and she's here with us from Joyfully Nourished. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Yes. I have a question. I have to leave at 3 o'clock, so I won't be able to stay for afterwards if there's any handouts.
Yes.
So I was just going to say, if there's anything I can grab, do I do that now?
Right now.
Or, okay, sure. Thanks. Just not to interrupt that when I have to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
So hi everyone, my name is Juanita Miller. I'm a certified nutritional practitioner, and today, as we went, we're exploring the topic of eating your greens and supercharging your health. The topics that we'll cover today are current health crisis and solutions, fun ways to eat more greens, year-round growing and the tower garden, helping kids love vegetables, and then we'll have a time at the end for questions. You'll find I probably look at my notes a lot, and that's because if any of you know me, I am a huge over-talker, and I could probably talk for 5 hours on this. So I've tried to be very intentional with writing down my thoughts so we can cover a lot of information today, so that's what my notes are for. So yes, I'm a certified nutritional practitioner, or also known as a holistic nutritionist. I have a diploma as in applied nutrition. I also have a background in the beauty industry and working for Organics BC, as well as in business and administration in the banking world. I'm a wife and a mom of 2 boys. My husband is Justin Miller. Some of you may know him from being at TELUS and now as a hearing aid practitioner. My son Jasper, he turns 5 today, and baby Tobias. I primarily work as an educator and as a health affiliate. However, I provide complimentary nutritional support to all my clients and families that I work with. I'm very excited to be here today. I feel honored to be invited as a guest speaker, especially since many of you have been an inspiration to me on my personal health journey and teaching me gardening tips. I'm humbled that you've come here today to learn even more. And for those of you who haven't met me before, I'm excited that you're here too, because it means that you're interested in health and wellness, and that's something I love to have conversations about. Can everyone in the back hear me? Am I loud enough? Okay. So, we have a problem. We're sick. Maybe not you, but I bet that you know someone who's sick, who has a chronic disease, a cancer diagnosis, an autoimmune condition, or somebody who's passed away just much too young. The major root cause of all disease is inflammation. Of course, there's many factors that play into this, such as your sleep, hydration, lifestyle habits, your faith, your emotional health. But I want to present the idea that one of the leading causes is poor nutrition. This was a recent study that was done in Brazil, and it confirmed that highly processed foods are linked to premature death. The study referred to highly processed foods as ultra-processed foods, which are things like chips, pops, hot dogs, ice cream. I like to call these foods food-like products. Ultra-processed foods have been associated with an increased risk of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and mortality. This study was done on individuals living in Brazil between the ages of 30 and 69 who consumed only 13 to 21% of their energy intake from processed foods. And that's really not much food of their total intake. The study found that the consumption of ultra-processed foods was responsible for approximately 57,000 premature deaths. So this was 10% of all premature deaths in that age bracket in Brazil. So reducing the ultra-processed food intake by only 10 to 50% could potentially prevent up to 29,000 of these premature deaths. To maintain good health, it's recommended that we have 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And if you're an athlete, pregnant or nursing, fighting disease, then it's recommended that we get even more than 13. But the majority of people are not even eating close to this number. The CDC says that only 1 in 10 adults is getting enough fruits and vegetables. Eating healthy has its challenges. It's more expensive to eat healthy than processed foods. It takes more time to prepare healthy homemade meals. And many people have grown up eating these kinds of food-like products, and their taste buds have been conditioned to prefer those types of foods. But let's say that you do want to eat well, and you go to the store and you buy that fresh produce from the grocery store. There's a challenge of our winter climates. During this time of year, most of our food has been grown far away in warmer climates. The produce is picked before its peak nutrition, and it's been in transit anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks before it's arrived at the store. And a lot of the time, it has lost its nutritional value and started to spoil. But what if I could show you a different way to make healthy eating simple and more enjoyable? What if I could show you a few simple ways to make it convenient and affordable? Would that be okay? So we're going to start with my story. I was born a healthy baby girl, but then health concerns came up, and by age 4 I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. By the time that I graduated, I had a whole collection of symptoms and additional diagnoses. I took an average of 25 to 30 painkillers every single month, so that's over 300 a year. I used topical steroids for 20 years and 4 years of antibiotics straight, along with other medications on and off. I was often in pain, my gut was in terrible condition, and I was chronically getting sick. In my early 20s, I found a remedy for healing naturally and managing autoimmune symptoms through diet and lifestyle choices. In only 30 days, my health radically changed. I went on to become a holistic nutritionist so that I could help others change their health story too. Despite a huge leap for the better with my health situation, the damage from all those medications and years of poor eating habits left me unable to digest many foods, especially leafy greens. Yet I knew how important it was to eat a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, so I was driven to figure out a way. I began juicing and taking whole food nutritional plant powders, and my body was able to digest more fruits and vegetables this way in a liquid or powder form. And over time, my body has continued to heal, and I no longer need medications. I passionately stand before you today to share my story because I know that some of you are desperate for a transformational story in your own life, and I want you to know that there is hope. So research shows that eating fruits and vegetables supports a ton of things in our body. We've got immune function, gut health, dental and skin health, cardiovascular health, metabolic health, cognitive function, providing antioxidant protection, protecting your DNA, and decreasing inflammation. So it's important to eat a wide variety of colors, but in today's talk, however, we're focusing on eating greens and how they can support your health. Leafy greens are loaded with fiber, vitamins, minerals. When we eat them daily, they help protect you against many diseases, including heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. They provide essential nutrients to your cells to function properly and even provide you with more energy. Dark green vegetables are a great source of folate, lutein, and beta-carotene that supports your heart, brain, and eyes. Greens also have phytochemicals that help lower inflammation. They're also really good at establishing gut flora. We all know that we need probiotic foods, but did you know that your microbiome also needs prebiotic foods? Leafy greens contain prebiotics, which is really just fiber. And when our microbiome eats this fiber from the leaf, they create a short-chain fatty acid called sulfoquinolose. And sulfoquinolose feeds the healthy bacteria living in our digestive tract and crowds out the bad bacteria. So what about oxalates? So 5 to 10 years ago, kale was like the superfood and everyone was eating kale all day long. And now all of a sudden everyone's scared to eat kale. They're concerned about the oxalates. So let's address these. Oxalates are a compound that's found in lots of food, especially in greens, which includes kale, of course. It's not isolated to kale. It's in all sorts of foods, like even beans and other foods. When the oxalate levels get too high, there's a chance that it could bind to calcium and form kidney stones. So that's where the fear is coming from. Excess amounts of oxalates could also prevent your body from absorbing certain minerals. They bind together and then you lose those minerals. So it could bind to something like calcium and you might not get enough calcium. But most people, the majority of the population, don't need to worry about that. However, if you have a history of kidney stones, gut conditions such as leaky gut or SIBO, it means that your body may absorb more oxalates than the average person, even up to 90% more than the average person. And so if you are concerned but want to eat leafy greens, you can cook them. The oxalates are water soluble. So you cook them in water and then discard the water. So don't cook it in soup and leave it in there, but cook it separate, discard the water, and then add it in if that's a concern. But what's important is moderation. Like, don't go out from here hearing about how great leafy greens are and only eat leafy greens, right, for the rest of your life. That's an imbalance to nutrition. We need greens and we need other foods and we need it all in balance and moderation. And we all know that herbs have been long used for their medicinal properties, including digestive aids, nausea relief, headaches, colds and congestion, antibacterial, hormone balancing, nutritional, chelation. Those of you who don't know what chelation is, it means that herbs are really great at binding heavy metals in our body. So if you're looking to detox and get rid of them, especially like cilantro is a really great one. It binds those heavy metals and flushes them out of your body. So we'll look at a few fun ways to eat more greens. So there's the debate of smoothies versus juicing. So with juicing, you get all sorts of vitamins and minerals, and they're super, super concentrated because you're juicing a lot of plant product. It's also easier to absorb. So if you're someone who has leaky gut, SIBO, IBS, different things like that, and you have the digestive concerns, it's really easy for you to absorb that nutrition. So for my body, those are issues I have. Juicing makes a lot of sense for me. But especially if you're, it can affect blood sugar levels. So especially if you're just juicing fruits, like if you're I'm just juicing apples and lemons, and I might add a leaf of kale. Like that is a lot of sugar, so be aware of that. But if you're juicing a lot, if you like straight up juice celery, like that's going to be really great for you, kind of thing. It's not loaded with the fruit. It removes the fiber though, and fiber is super important for that healthy microbiome. And so you maybe want to do both. It's not necessarily just juicing or just blending. It's good to do both. With blending, it retains all of that fiber and it helps keep you full longer. But like we talked about, there's reasons that some people might want to juice. I prefer the taste. If I'm gonna like blend or juice up some vegetables and greens, I prefer the taste of it in a juice. And I don't even mind throwing in like parsley or cilantro or those kind of like herbs. They're very strong, but I like them in the juice. I do not like them in my smoothie. That like ruins my smoothie to put them in there, but some people love it in there. So it's all good. This is a recipe of a green smoothie that's pretty popular. You have your nut milk or water. Throw in 2 cups of spinach, a banana, apple, and avocado. So you see that when you're making smoothies, you often add a lot more fruit to make it palatable. Not always. Some people get really used to the taste of really greens, but when I'm like Googling recipes for green smoothies, it's primarily fruit with a little bit of greens in them, right? So with green juicing, this is like my favorite, this is my signature drink that if I'm making it for someone, this is typically what I make, and I love drinking this one. So it's 1 apple, 1 lemon, 2 to 4 kale leaves. I usually throw the whole stalk in, like the whole bunch, so it's usually more than 4. 2 celery stalks, 1 whole cucumber, and a 1/2 inch of fresh ginger. And people are always like, I don't want green juice. They really like that one, so that's it. We're actually gonna do a demo right now. I don't have those ingredients. We're gonna do a lettuce, lemon, and apple, so you guys can all sample that one. So basically it's a salad, right? So Michelle, my friend Michelle here is gonna do this. She's never juiced before, so she's gonna figure it out. Yeah, just leave it through there. And then you don't want to go past the fill line here. You want to Okay, so we're gonna actually just take this right off of the tower and juice it. So this is a Bib lettuce. There's lots of different kinds of lettuce, like mixed salad greens and different things. And romaine, this is similar to a romaine, but it is different still. So
What did you say it was called?
this is a Bib lettuce.
Like B-I-B?
B-I-B-B.
Oh.
Yeah. So when you're harvesting off of the tower, you can just pull the back pieces like this, and then as long as you leave the center, it will continue to grow. But I've been growing these for this talk, so I'm expecting to just pull it out here. It's okay. Except you put all those in there. I'll start it. So juicing I just take these leaves. You don't want to put through too many at one time because then it will clog up inside.
Like I did.
And then you can tamper before you add more.
And no more lettuce. I mean, no more.
So then all of these go when you get up to like here, then empty it and then start doing more. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Woo! And just hook her up the nest. So lie down on the side this way. Carry on. So the fiber is coming out of the side, and you can discard it, or you can like find recipes for multi-purposing that fiber. So if you're juicing carrots, you can put that then into like carrot cake or bread or different things like that. It loses some of its sweetness because that's going into the liquid side. I have a recipe, I haven't made it in years, but I had a recipe where I mixed it with ground flax and onions and herbs, and then I dehydrate them, and a dehydrator of course, and then I have them as crackers that I eat with dip, like hummus. Yeah, I use it as dog. Okay, so when it comes to cooking, what should you rather cook with, right? So when I moved out, I was given a bunch of dried herbs, which I was very grateful for to have the gift, but I did not love cooking. And then one day I decided, I got a very, very small food budget, and I said, I'm gonna splurge and buy some herbs from the market. And like, it changed the entire experience for me. Like, everything is just fresh and alive when you're cooking with real fresh herbs. So, if you've ever like struggled with cooking, add fresh herbs in. What's that?
Garlic.
And garlic. Yes, absolutely. So looking at these colorful salads, a lot of people don't like salads, right? And what they're doing is they're just chopping up leaves and pouring on salad dressing, and they're like, I don't like this, right? They might add a tomato. But you can make it really exciting, right? Like add other things to it, things that are visually very appealing and different textures. If you've got nuts and berries, like I love fresh berries, so you can do dried cranberries, all sorts of different things, different protein options on top, avocados, eggs, like there's so much you can do to salads to make them really exciting. Oh, and then dressing. So like, honestly, this is my go-to salad dressing. I start with extra virgin olive oil, and then I choose one of these three. Sometimes I mix them. I do apple cider vinegar, or like real authentic balsamic, not like the cheap stuff that's like from the grocery store, but go down to like sapori oils, or what's the one here? Yes, all of us. Like those they're thick when you pour them. It's like almost like molasses kind of thick. Not quite, but it's real and it's authentic, and it will definitely make a difference. Lemon juice is another great one. So if I go to a restaurant, I have a dairy intolerance, and so if I go to a restaurant, I can't often have the dressings that they're serving, so I'll just ask them. Can I have a lemon wedge and some olive oil to pour on my salad instead? And it tastes so amazing. And then often if I'm at home, I take the herbs, chop it up, and add salt and pepper. I throw it all in a jar, just shake it, and then pour it on my salads. Okay, so kale. Do you love it? Or do you hate it, right? It's kind of like people fall somewhere on one side of that. So there's a couple tips that I'm going to give you about kale. The first one is, I put those backwards. We're doing massaging first. What's that?
Baby kale is right.
Yeah. So I used to cut every single like stem out of it, and we'd have these big leaves of kale, and I would cut them all out, and it would take me hours. So when I learned this, I was really excited. I'm not sure if this leaf is big enough for it, but you pinch it at the bottom and then just push up, right? So it will save you tons and tons of hours if you're doing, what's that?
Keep it going.
Yeah, just push that off and go like that. It's so easy. You can use that with other herbs and some leafy greens as well, but that like changed my world when I was no longer spending hours cutting it. The other thing, if you find the kale salad to be unpalatable or really hard for you to digest, it's really good to massage it. So yeah, just massage it. And it's not so great working on these baby kales, but on the big leaves, right, when you're massaging it, it softens them, and it almost like works the nutrients inside to be pre-digested in a way so that it doesn't clog up your digestive system. And it changes the way that it tastes too. So it makes it better, like if you're doing like a kale Caesar salad, it's going to make it more enjoyable to eat if you massage it. And then the other thing is I love kale chips. I'll be honest, I don't like kale salad. I will eat it, but I don't love it. But I love kale chips. And so just rubbing it, massaging it with olive oil, sprinkling it with salt or other flavoring, whatever you like, and then baking it at low temperatures in the oven. That's the key, because if you do high temperatures really fast, it's not going to work as well as if you do low temperatures for a longer time. But my favorite way to eat it is actually to put it in, I have a cast iron pan, and I put it in there with olive oil or avocado oil, and then salt, and I leave it to almost burn. And it's so crispy and light that like I prefer it over potato chips. So I like to have that as a morning breakfast with blueberries and some sausage and sauerkraut. That's my favorite thing. It's crispy kale. Alright, so these are different ways to eat greens. You've got spinach sauteed with fresh garlic, mustard greens fried with garlic, and then of course like pesto herbs from basil. When I was traveling in Myanmar, I was not doing very well. I was not doing well with the foods, like the travel. I was basically in a bed with very low energy. And one of the local families was like, let me cook something for you. And this is what they made me. And when they cook it there, they also, they waited for it to flower. They wait for it to get the yellow flowers. And so it's bitter, right? When we let our plants, lettuce and everything overgrow, it gets that bitterness to it. But it's also richer in minerals. And so that's what they cooked for me. Bitter mustard greens with the flour and then the added garlic into that. And like, you're not going to like this. I'm like, you don't know that I'm a nutritionist. And like, I loved it. And I felt so much better a couple hours later. So, yeah, you can juice, right, like the core and everything when you're juicing. Okay, and then medicinal teas and tonics. So you can do like a peppermint beverage, peppermint tea. This is stinging nettle. And I drink stinging nettle every single day. And the reason for it, it is so full of nutrients. It's very rich in B vitamins. So if you're someone who needs B vitamins, you can add it in as like a nutritional support. It's also got iron and other like healthy, good things for you. So we call it a nutritional. You can also, if you want to buy herbal tea, this is what I recommend. I really like this brand, the Traditional Medicinals, and they have a nettle. That's what I drink. I don't actually have a lot of nettle on my yard. The nettle that I do grow on my yard, I fry it like kale with oil and salt. I love fried kale, or fried nettles. So I have to buy my nettles because I don't have enough space to grow more. And then when all else fails, hide it. So put it in your soups, put it in your bread, like zucchini bread, zucchini chocolate cake, right? Put it in your omelets, put it in soups. You can blend herbs up into mashed potatoes. There's lots of different ways to disguise vegetables in your food. I think, are we ready to sample that?
I think so.
So Michelle's got it all juiced out.
If it's yucky, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna try it first. So I like to stir it up a little bit first. I forgot my my spoon, but stir it just because sometimes if you juiced it like all the lemons first, they might be sitting at a different spot in there. I love it, guys. If you don't like it, it's you. Yeah, just do a little bit for everyone. You can open up a new one if you need to too. Okay, so now that we know why greens are good for you and a few fun ways to eat them, let's talk about growing them. So during the warmer months, of course, we have an outdoor garden if we have space for that. And so what do we do the rest of the year? So when you bring growing indoors, you have three options. You can grow in soil, you can grow in water, or you can grow in the air. So we'll jump into those. So first we have some low-cost options. So you've got sprouting. This is where I started like 15 years ago, was growing like alfalfa sprouts and broccoli sprouts, sunflower seed sprouts in a jar like this with a mason jar with a bio-snacky lid. You can also use cheesecloth. And then there's also like stacking tower ones. I still have it sitting in the back of my cupboard that I'm not using. But like these are options to grow food super, super cheap. You can also regrow some fruits and vegetables. I've tried it, it didn't work great for me. Other people have had really great success with it. Some people grow like the tops of carrots. I just don't like the taste of eating carrot tops. So like it didn't appeal to me tons, but some people like it really like they do a lot, and they have like their whole windowsill full of these regrowing plants. So it's kind of cool. It's neat even just to see it visually. Or you can just grow herbs and stuff on your windowsill, like a little mini salad or some basils. Like you can buy cute little things from even like indigo books, right? Where you can get a seed in a little pot and it just grows on your windowsill. So different options for smaller varieties. And then there's some bigger options here, higher yields and bigger varieties. So this is Mr. Stacky. You can find him on Amazon. He's you put soil in there and you grow the plants. A lot of people have this outdoors on their patio during the summer, and so they just bring it inside. Whichever of these options you use, you have to have a grow light. And it's not just like lights like these. It's a special light that has like a full spectrumness to it. This is my friend's. His name is John. He's a chef, and he's been trying to grow stuff in his basement. So these are Rubbermaids, and he says that the microgreens are doing amazing. Like they're so easy to do. But when it comes to like the lettuce and kale, different things like that, he says it's not working very well. Some people have had lots of success, but more often as I like interviewed people preparing for this, yeah, microgreens worked, but nothing, like their lettuce just did not take. So it is challenging. You also have to like move the lights and different things to accommodate the growth, and I'm not up for that. But for some people, it is a low-cost way of growing some food. This is a do-it-yourself hydroponic system that you can build out of pipes, and I don't know how to do that either, but it is an option as well. You can grow stuff that way. And then aeroponics. There's lots of different types of aeroponic products. So what is the difference between all of those? Hydroponics is when your plant is sitting in water, and it's always sitting in water, and you add a nutritional solution into the water. With aquaponics, it's the same thing. Your plant is sitting in the water, but instead of adding a nutrient solution, the fish are eating stuff in the water and pooping and fertilizing your plant. So they are the nutrients instead. With aeroponics, which is what this tower is, periodically, like you've probably heard the water run once in a while, it's taking the water up and dripping it onto the roots all throughout the plant. So the benefit of doing aeroponics is it provides your crops with stronger, healthier root systems. So benefits of growing your own food. Let's find where we are. Very good. Okay, so it's more affordable. When you think about the cost of a $5 seed packet, and you can grow 100 heads of lettuce or whatever's in that particular package, compare that to the price of a $5 head of lettuce from the grocery store, right? And right now you can buy, like, depends on the day, sometimes stuff on sale and you get it cheaper, but like spinach was on sale the other day and my son really wanted it, and I ran out of spinach seeds, so I didn't grow any, and so I'm like, okay, we'll go to the store and buy it. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it's on sale for $1.25, but it looks terrible, right? So I don't even want to buy it. So it's more affordable to be growing like this at home, and you have really beautiful produce. Thank you so much. It's also local. If you're growing in your home, ours is in our living room. A lot of people put theirs in their kitchen. You cannot get more local than that, right? You're chopping it right before dinner, just like we did for making the juice, and so it is picked at its nutritional peak, and it hasn't had time to start oxidizing and losing its nutritional value.
What do you do for lights?
Oh, yes. So I was going to bring my light system today. I have a picture of it coming up, but I couldn't fit it in my car, and so I did leave the lights at home. But we'll see a picture of it. Yeah. And then also you are in control of your own food when you're growing it yourself. You know the seeds that you chose and you know that it's not being sprayed. So this is a picture with the lights here. It's not a great picture of the lights. You can kind of see how it comes up out of my head there.
They're little.
It's 4 lights that come out and they're adjustable. So if your plants start getting really big, you can move it out a bit further and have it tighter. And it's a full spectrum light with everything that you need for the plants to grow really well. Like, they look amazing, right? So it has everything that they need in addition to like the nutrients that's added into it. So this is my tower at home. And yeah, we'll jump into that. So after looking at different ways of growing indoors, my family chose this aeroponics garden, which is called the Tower Garden by Juice Plus. We chose it because it's easy to maintain, it fits into our budget, and it grows a lot of food. And it even waters itself, as you guys heard at the beginning there. We love it because we have fresh food right in our living room that I can pick for dinner. So often, like at the end of the day, it's like, what am I cooking, right? And it's like, oh, I'll just go chop off a bok choy and fry it with garlic. Maybe fry up an egg on the side, and I've got a meal, right? And I love cooking with fresh herbs. So I love that, like I have, right now I only have basil and lots and lots of dill. If you guys want to take some dill home, I already hacked some up. And then I've got parsley under here. I have peppermint and other things growing at home too, but I didn't quite bring everything because I was worried about some falling out in the transportation. It can also, oh yeah, so when you're picking, as I mentioned, if you don't have to pick the whole thing, just pick off this back stuff and just leave this center to continue to grow. And it'll grow, and in a couple days you can pick more or next week, and you'll have another quite a full head again. And you can keep going for several weeks like that until it starts getting more of that like bitter, overgrown taste. But you can get several weeks out of each head that you have. Yeah, absolutely. So this is my son Jasper, the one who's turning 5 today. He loves this, and so vertical gardens are a great way to get your kids involved with growing food, like year-round. And with the tower, Jasper will even like walk past the tower sometimes, especially he likes to show off for people, and he'll like grab it and just eat it in front of them. So it gets him eating more fruits and vegetables than if he was like just eating what's on his plate at a meal. So I also like juicing several times a week, not every day, but like 2-3 times a week I try to juice. But it can be really expensive to buy all of that product. So with the tower, it's been really nice to not have to think about the cost of all of those greens, especially in our period of inflation right now. And so I just pick them like as I want and juice them, and without having to think about it.
Do you grow lemons too?
I wish I grew lemons. The lemons and apples I do have to buy. Did everyone wanting a sample get a sample of the juice? Thank you.
So that was just
That was just lettuce.
Thank you.
2 heads of lettuce. No, it would be 1 head of lettuce, 1 lemon, and 1 apple.
Oh,
That's what that recipe says. Yeah. And when I'm buying the produce, like the lemon and the apple to go with it, I make sure that like I buy organic when I'm doing that. I'm not able to buy all my food as organic, but when I'm juicing, I'm using the entire thing, right? I'm using the lemon peels and everything, and I don't want anything on it, so that's where I put my money, is that kind of thing. So sustainability and environmental impact. When you're going to this vertical tower garden, and probably most vertical ones would be similar, you use 90% less water. You use 90% less land, up to 3 times faster growth. People are often surprised. They come for a visit, and then they come for another visit. They're like, wow, how is it growing so fast? I don't know why, but they just grow really fast in here. 30% more yield. It reduces your carbon footprint because there's less miles of transportation and storage of all of that food. There's no water waste because it's 100% recycled. Like the water and the nutrients that you put in there, it just keeps cycling over and over and over. The more plants I have, I find it uses up the water and nutrients faster, so I'm refilling it about once a week. So really low maintenance, and that once a week I kind of check it. No pesticides, like I'm not spraying it with anything. If you take it outdoors, and like let's say during the summer you get like bugs on your kale, different things like that. If you have it out on your patio, you're at risk of that being on there. But in your home, like no risk of anything like that. It's quite contained. And you can save money because you're growing your seeds, and yeah, lots of different ways with that.
Are you going to get into what you put in your water?
Not in this talk.
Okay.
I would love to, but I'm gonna do another talk in a couple weeks. Just at my home, which there's an invite there, and I'll go into all of that, like how to do it. So setup and maintenance is super easy. It comes in 2 boxes. It comes in 2 boxes. You assemble it. My 5-year-old helped me build that when my baby was napping. Yeah, Michelle built. So actually, Michelle here, I've been looking at this for like 6 years. And I was like, I'm not sure that I can do this. And then Michelle was introduced to it, bought it. And I was like, she's going to do it. I can do this too. So I bought mine and figured out how to set it up. And like I say, my 5-year-old helped me, and he had a lot of fun doing it with me. And yeah, so it's super easy. You fill it with water, you add the nutrients, you check the pH, and then you put in rock wool. This is the growing medium. So instead of soil, you've got this little rock wool. You put a seed in it with vermiculite on top, and then you can germinate it in a tray until it starts to have little sprouts. If I have room, I pop them right in the tower. But
What is that?
rock wool is actually like a rock mineral that they've spun
Oh,
to be like, well, they also use it as insulation in like homes.
but it's natural.
Yes, rocks.
Yes, yeah.
And it you have to soak the rock wool first so that it absorbs water. Because I cheated sometimes and just throw them in and put seeds, and I'm like, why is it still dry like a week later? So it's really interesting stuff. For maintenance, every week I just check the water levels. I left it at home, but there's a little hole over here where there's a thing that sticks up, and it's a bobber, and it'll show you if the water level is going down. And then once a week, when I add more water, then I also check the pH to see if I need to add more minerals and that kind of thing. And also there's a pump that pumps the water up. And once a week you want to check to make sure that the roots aren't growing down into the pump, and literally you just stick your hand in and pull them out. So it's really simple. And then twice a year they recommend doing like a deep clean. Take the thing apart and just scrub all the little spots inside to keep it clean. Oh, and it's also super space saving. So you can have it in most homes, like even little apartments, and you have the option of taking it outdoors during the summer. And when you have it outside during the summer, you don't want the lights. But inside in the home, you do want to have the lights on it. And they recommend 14 hours a day. So I have mine turn off at 9:40 and wake me up at 6:40.
That's why it grows so fast.
Yeah.
Is the extra light.
Probably. Yeah.
It's the same thing happens up north
Okay.
in the summer.
That's
They
great.
get amazing root crops up there.
Yeah.
Because of the longer hours.
Yes, you can do less. But yeah, we do the 14 hours. You can do up to 16 hours, but you don't want it on all the time. So these are the best crops to grow in it. Any kind of lettuce. These are the top leafy green choices. And then different herbs. So for growth time, I found that the baby salad mix, which is this one here, this is like a spicy salad mix. It's really spicy. Like I juiced it and I couldn't drink it. Like it was so spicy. So that mix there takes like 4 to 6 weeks, I find. So if I'm starting them in a tray, I'll typically have them in the tray for 2 weeks. And then for another 2 to 4 weeks, I have them on here getting a bit bigger. And then I can eat them. I find that the bib lettuce, so those were the big ones that we juiced, they take about 6 weeks. And the kale, for like little baby kale leaves, like 4 weeks. But I like to let them get really big, like this dino kale. I like when they get a lot bigger, so I kind of let them grow for about 8 weeks before I start harvesting them, and then wait a couple days and harvest more kind of thing. So what I have right now, this is part of the bok choy family. I can't remember the exact name of this one because it grows in a different shape than a bok choy, but it's a similar taste. And then there's also, I have the mustard greens look very similar to it. This is a yellow bush bean. I didn't know if it would actually grow, but I've been experimenting. I have more at home, but I was really worried about them breaking during transport, so I took them out. But you can see that there's actually flowers. And on your way out, you can check this one. Yellow bush bean. I actually have a bean here and then 2 babies right there.
Do you hand pollinate?
I didn't.
Okay.
I was Googling it and they said no, you don't have to with beans because it has male and female parts. Whereas the tomato, you need to pollinate between them. So just use a paintbrush and pollinate them. But yeah, I'm really excited. Beans. I love beans. We've got 2 different kinds of kale on here. There's basil and the herbs, and I don't even quite know what everything is until it gets a little bit bigger. There's rainbow chard on the back. This one is all like yellow. That I plant random seeds and they all came up yellow. Last time I had purple and pink and red and yellow and orange. Like it was this beautiful display of like 5 different colors in a pod. So yeah, I've talked about, what's that?
It's pretty to look at.
Yeah, it definitely is. We love it in the look, like it's just bright, fresh. And, yeah. So in this talk, I've mentioned a few different ways to grow indoors, and if you think that this is something that makes sense for you, you can talk to me afterwards. I'm an educator with this company, and I can help you place an order and take care of you. So there are a couple good questions that you want to ask before you start growing at home, whether, well, spreading is pretty low cost, but when you're looking at something like the Tower Garden or doing Rubbermaids or Buckerfields here has different options downstairs. Like you might have seen the microgreens, kind of looks like a fish tank, but there's different options. So there's questions that you want to ask to find out like what is the best for you. And I don't know why that shaping was kind of weird. So ask yourself, what is your why? Like why are you wanting to grow your own food? Is it because you want to save money? Is it because you want to know how your food is growing? Or to show an example of healthy eating to your children or grandchildren? Is it because you want to grow the most nutrient-rich foods that you can, or the freshest food possible? Or is it for sustainability and environmental impact? Another great question is, how much do you want to grow? Because that will determine what you need to purchase, right? Do you want to grow a couple heads of lettuce a week and just have fresh salads? Do you want to make a lot of juices or smoothies, cook a lot of stir fries, and have more produce? Do you, think also, like, do you like to cook with fresh herbs? Do you like to just cook with parsley? Or do you like to have dill and like oregano and sage and thyme and all these different herbs? And another very big, important question is how much space do you have to grow in? Like this is a 4x4 space. That's all that you need with the lights. It's 4x4. It works great on the patio, as we've mentioned, or indoors all year round. It's especially practical for seniors because of the small space that they have, or anyone else who's in an apartment. But I often, like even when showing this to people, I often hear people say, I just don't have the room for this. So it's important to like go back to that first question about what was your why? Like, is it important enough to grow your own food or set that example? And can we make space in your home for it so that you have this? And it might look smaller for you. Maybe it's not this. Maybe it is growing plants on your windowsill, right? Maybe you need more than this. Maybe you have a larger family or you're juicing a ton. And some people have 2 towers. They have a whole tower just for salads and stir fries and that kind of thing. Like you can go broccoli on this too, cauliflower, different things. And they have an entire tower where they just have their juicing greens. So some people need more than just one even. And yeah, so some people, there's a family pack of 3 that some people start with that. Or maybe you're feeling really inspired to grow an entire vertical farm. I cannot wait one day to go see one of these in person. This one is in Italy. I'd really like to go there and check it out. They have like indoor space, outdoor space. It is just incredible what they've been growing. I've been watching YouTube videos on it and it is just amazing. There's a place in Canada here that they have an entire indoor commercial space like this too, where they're producing it and bringing it to the markets or local restaurants for fresh farm to tower to table meals.
Back east, isn't it?
It's over on the eastern side. I'm only just learning about that. I think it's cool. I want to go check it out. So like, wouldn't this be cool? Like, this is your inspiration to do this and provide it at the markets and provide it to our local restaurants in Seminar. We've been joking that we're going to turn your side room into a tower farm. So this is my little boy Tobias. So just a couple tips in helping children love vegetables. Our children, so our children are our future, and it's important that they know how food is growing and that they develop a taste for real foods. It's surprising how many children don't know where vegetables are growing. So they are our future here, so teaching them. So let's make growing and eating a whole lot of fun. Kids love superheroes, so let's teach them that fruits and vegetables are superheroes. Our culture has this idea that superfoods are these exotic fruits from foreign countries, but that's not the definition of a superfood. It's a food that is high in nutritional value with low calories. So pretty much that's fruits and vegetables, right? So let's teach them that we are surrounded by them in the shoe shop here. We're very fortunate where we live. And yeah, let's make every fruit and vegetable exciting. So we're going to go over 8 tips. We'll quickly go through those. These are just a couple things that you can encourage your children, your grandchildren, nieces or nephews, anyone who's in your life. Fun ideas to get more food, more vegetables into them. This is my son Jasper. So number 1, inviting your children to plant seeds with you. The children that plant more seeds, or children that grow plants eat more plants. Don't expect them to plant the entire garden with you. I had really high expectations last year. But give them something satisfying to plant that can be grown into their own little pet food. My son Jasper loved watching the peas and the bush beans come up last year in our garden. And this year, while we've been growing inside, since we've had the tower, he's loved every single plant as it's sprouted. Every day he's, I have to check on my beans to see if they're flowers, right? He's really excited and he munches on there, so get them involved and invite them with you. Second is making healthy snacks visible and easy to grab. So at the start of the week, pick up your produce, wash it and prep it and put it in clear containers in your fridge. And this is for you and the kids, right? When you see it and it's ready, it's easy to serve. When my kids come to me and they're like, I'm hungry right now, it's easy to give them a granola bar, right? Instead of giving them stuff because it's not ready yet. So I try to have it prepped and ready, like carrot sticks or celery sticks that are ready in the fridge. Also, when you're preparing dinner, this is a trick another mom gave me, set out vegetable sticks and maybe hummus, and they come be with you. They like sit with you in the kitchen, or even my husband, he's in there, and they just start munching on the vegetables without even intentionally realizing they're eating on it. So it's a way to get more in. Teaching them to cook with participation. So invite your children to cook with you. Teach them how to use a paring knife. Even like, I started teaching my son at 3 years old to use a paring knife. Suggest that they can play in the water and wash the veggies with a scrubby. Let them spin the salad spinner, have them add sprouts on top of the salad, or even stir the spinach and garlic saute on the stove. Of course, there's risks when they help. They could get cut or burnt. So it's so important to like slow down, be with them and watching them. But teaching them to cook, especially in those younger years where they think it's playing with mommy in the kitchen, sets them up for success with healthy nutritional habits for life. And number 4 is sitting together at a table for meals. It surprises me, a lot of families don't do that. It's just kind of on the go, mom's busy, or we're eating in the car, different things. But our kids want to be like us. So if we're sitting at the table together eating, they're seeing that and they want to be like mommy and daddy and mimic us. Take advantage of nature's natural sweeteners. So it's not really a vegetable tip at all, but the idea is wanting to give them naturally sweet foods instead of the processed sweets. So when I take Jasper to the grocery store, instead of him asking for candy and chips and ice cream, like yes, he wants that stuff, he's come to expect he's not going to get it. So what he asks for a treat is, can I please have a veggie or a fruit platter? Can I please have a watermelon? Right? Like that is what he's come to expect as a treat. So just getting their taste buds changed that way. And at home, one of the things that I do is I give rewards using dates, right? Like a little sugary date, but it's full of vitamins and it's full of minerals and it's full of fiber. It's really good for you. I snack on dates all the time. And so those are little rewards for him. And yeah, so unlike candy, which is, it's without that, you've removed all the fiber and it's typically just straight sugar and dyes. So if we primarily raise our children eating fresh fruits and vegetables, that's what they're going to expect and that's what they're going to crave. If we hold back on the sugars and the processed foods, they won't expect it. And it'll remain a treat for birthdays or special occasions. And we have re-exposure and metabolic reprogramming. So continuing to expose your children to new vegetables and then re-expose them to the vegetables that they didn't like again and again. Encourage them even just one bite and that's enough, right? Just getting it on their tongue even once. My baby Tobias has never liked cucumbers, but I occasionally put a cucumber on his plate at the meal. And after 10 months of exposing him to cucumbers, he started eating them last week. So it pays off eventually. We have to be persistent. Just keep re-exposing them. What's happening with that re-exposure is something called metabolic reprogramming. And that's when our taste buds change to crave the foods that they're repeatedly exposed to. Think about like the first time you drank coffee. Did you like it? But now we just keep drinking it and now we need it, right? We crave it. It's metabolic reprogramming. This is the power of pure plant foods. It's never too late to start changing our taste buds. For sure, it's harder and it takes longer when we're adults or we have an older child already, but it's never too late. If you have a child who refuses to eat fruits and vegetables, I have a product that I like to recommend. It's called Juice Plus, and it's a variety of 30 fruits and vegetables in a concentrated form. And it can be taken as a chewable gummy or as a capsule, and it helps with reprogramming the taste buds to crave more fruits and vegetables. It does take a while, but it's effective and it steers people back to eating more whole foods. Number 7 is making fun food into art, right? Like these faces, animals, rainbows, different things. Like make it exciting to eat that food, visually appealing. And 8, when all else fails, hide it in their food again. So we've covered a lot of information today. We've heard that why we need to eat good nutrition to combat inflammation and disease. We've looked at a few healthy recipes and tasted some green juice and discovered ways that you can do indoor growing. Before I move into the questions, I want to say thank you for coming out today. Your time is valuable and I appreciate you being here to support your community and learn more about sustainable living. I'm going to pass around a clipboard so that now, and if you want to put your email on it, I'll send out some of the information from today. So please also on your way out, you can help yourself to resources here. I have a little package about the Tower Garden. And I also have an invite for 2 events that I have coming up in the next month or so. So you can grab that. I actually have them on the next slide here too. So we're going to do a tower presentation strictly on this, like how to do it, ins and outs of it on Wednesday, February 22nd at 7. And then sometime in March, I don't know what day yet, we're going to have a salad bar potluck. So we've done a couple of them before, and what you do as participants in the potluck, you bring a topping to put on the salad. And all the greens are fresh for you off of the tower. And it's just really fun community and learn a little bit more about nutrition and health. So if you have your name on there, I will get you that date. So I'll open that up to questions. I know we started late because of the other class going late, so if you have to leave, I understand. But if you want to stay and ask questions, absolutely, I'm here to talk to you. So, yeah. Yes?
How much does it cost to run that tower?
I think it's somewhere between $11 to $20 a month in electricity.